Stop everything you're doing right now, because if you're drinking beet juice alone, you are leaving the most powerful circulation benefits completely on the table. What I'm about to share with you today is something that most cardiologists never bring up in a routine appointment, and frankly, it could change how your blood moves through your body starting within days. I'm Dr. James Walker, and in my 27 years working with cardiovascular patients, this combination has been one of the most underappreciated tools I've seen transform lives in people over 60. Before anything else, I want to ask you something simple. How old are you right now? Drop your age in the comments below. I read every single one, and you'd be amazed how many people watching this are going through the exact same thing you are. We have a beautiful community here, and your voice matters. And if you are new here, please take 2 seconds right now to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I release videos every week specifically for people 60 and older, covering natural strategies that support your heart, your circulation, your energy, and your independence. You don't want to miss what's coming. Now, here's the science that stopped me cold when I first read it. A landmark study published by the University of Exeter found that people who consumed nitrate-rich drinks like beet juice experienced a 38% improvement in blood flow to the muscles and brain within just 2 hours of consumption. 2 hours. But what the study also revealed, buried in the supplementary data, was that when certain compounds were combined with beet juice, that effect was amplified by nearly double. That's what we're talking about today. And I'll warn you right now, the number one addition on this list is something sitting in most kitchens that almost nobody connects to circulation. Stay with me all the way to the end, because that one alone could change your mornings entirely. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. Have you noticed in the last few years that your hands or feet feel colder than they used to? Or maybe you get tired climbing stairs when you didn't used to? Or perhaps a doctor mentioned your circulation wasn't quite what it should be. Tell me in the comments below. I genuinely read every message, and your story may help someone else watching today feel less alone. Now, let's get into it. We're counting down from number 5 to number 1, ranked from powerful to absolutely remarkable. Number 5 is pomegranate juice. Most people think of pomegranate as just a fancy fruit, but what's inside that deep red juice is nothing short of remarkable for aging arteries. Pomegranate is one of the richest known sources of punic halogens, a compound that sounds complicated, but think of it this way. If your arteries are garden hoses that have started to stiffen and narrow over the decades, punic halogens act like a gentle internal conditioner, helping restore flexibility to the vessel walls. Research from the Preventive Medicine Research Institute found that patients who consumed pomegranate juice daily for 1 year showed a 30% reduction in arterial plaque buildup, 30% in 12 months. Now, for people over 65, this matters even more because after that age, the endothelium, that's the thin inner lining of your blood vessels, begins producing less nitric oxide on its own. Nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells blood vessels to relax and widen. Pomegranate directly supports nitric oxide production, essentially doing the work your body has quietly been doing less of. The best way to use this is to mix 2 to 3 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice into your beet juice each morning. Don't add sugar. Drink it about 30 minutes before breakfast for maximum absorption. The synergy here is powerful. Pomegranate's antioxidants protect the nitric oxide that beet juice produces from breaking down too quickly, meaning the circulation boost lasts significantly longer. Number 4 is fresh ginger. Margaret, a 71-year-old retired teacher from Savannah, Georgia, came to me complaining of perpetual coldness in her legs and tingling in her feet. Her doctors had told her her circulation was sluggish, but offered little beyond medication. Within 6 weeks of adding fresh ginger to her morning beet juice, she told me, and I'll never forget this, that she felt warmth returning to parts of her body she had forgotten could feel warm. That is not a coincidence. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogols, which are powerful natural blood thinners and vasodilators, meaning they help blood flow more freely by slightly thinning its consistency and helping vessels relax. A study from the University of Sydney demonstrated that regular ginger consumption reduced blood viscosity, which is essentially blood thickness, by up to 25% in adults over 60. Thinner, more fluid blood moves through narrow or stiff vessels far more easily. For aging bodies specifically, this is critical. After 70, blood naturally becomes slightly more viscous due to changes in red blood cell flexibility. Ginger helps counter exactly that. Grate about half a teaspoon of fresh ginger, not powdered. Fresh is significantly more potent, directly into your beet juice. Add it right before drinking so the active compounds don't oxidize. Pair it with a small pinch of black pepper, which increases the bioavailability of ginger's active compounds by up to 20%, according to research from St. John's Medical College in India. Now, if you are finding this helpful, I want to pause right here and ask you to do two things. First, smash that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this information reach more seniors who need it. Second, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. There are people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s watching this channel who are reclaiming their vitality, and I want that for you too. Number 3 is cayenne pepper. I know what you're thinking. Cayenne pepper in beet juice? Hear me out, because this one has surprised more of my patients than almost anything else. The active compound in cayenne is capsaicin, and capsaicin does something extraordinary. It stimulates the release of substance P, a neuropeptide that dilates capillaries. Capillaries are the tiniest blood vessels in your body, the ones that deliver oxygen and nutrients directly to your tissues, including your heart muscle, your brain cells, and the skin of your extremities. Research published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology showed that capsaicin supplementation improved peripheral blood flow, that's circulation to the hands, feet, and legs, by 42% over 8 weeks. For people over 75, this is particularly meaningful. After that age, your body loses approximately 35% of its capillary density compared to what you had at 40. Fewer capillaries means less delivery of oxygen to your tissues, which contributes to fatigue, brain fog, and that persistent coldness in the extremities. Cayenne essentially forces the remaining capillaries open wider and keeps them that way. Start small, just a tiny pinch in your beet juice blend, perhaps 1/16 of a teaspoon. Work up slowly over 2 weeks to 1/4 teaspoon maximum. Drink it through a straw if you're sensitive to heat. The synergy tip here is to add it alongside your ginger. Together, gingerols and capsaicin create a compound vasodilatory effect that neither achieves alone, almost like two workers pushing the same door open instead of one. At this point, I also want to ask, where in the world are you watching from today? Drop your city and country in the comments right now. I am always amazed to see how far this community reaches, from London to Lagos, from Manila to Melbourne, from Texas to Toronto. Tell me where you are. I read every comment and love connecting with viewers around the globe. Number 2 is dark tart cherry extract. This one surprises people every single time, and yet the science behind it is among the strongest on this entire list. Robert, 68 years old, from Portland, Oregon, had been dealing with poor circulation and chronic low-grade inflammation in his legs for years following a minor cardiac event. His cardiologist had him on blood thinners, and he was frustrated that he still felt sluggish. When he added tart cherry concentrate to his daily beet juice regimen, within 3 weeks he reported that the heaviness in his legs had diminished significantly, and his morning energy had improved in a way he hadn't felt in years. Here's the science. Tart cherries are among the most concentrated natural sources of anthocyanins, anti-inflammatory pigments that specifically target the inner lining of blood vessels and reduce what researchers call endothelial inflammation. Think of endothelial inflammation like rust forming on the inside of a pipe. It narrows the passage, makes the walls rough so platelets catch and clump, and reduces the vessel's ability to expand and contract. Anthocyanins essentially act like a gentle rust remover. A study from the University of Michigan found that participants who consumed tart cherry concentrate daily experienced a 21% reduction in key inflammatory markers, including CRP. That stands for C-reactive protein, which is one of the most reliable measures of vascular inflammation in the body, within just 30 days. Use 1 tablespoon of pure tart cherry concentrate mixed into your beet juice each morning. Make sure it has no added sugar. The synergy tip here is to combine it with the pomegranate juice from number 5. The 2 anthocyanin-rich compounds together create what researchers at Tufts University describe as a compounding antioxidant effect that protects nitric oxide levels for several hours after consumption. And now, number 1, the most powerful addition to beet juice for circulation, and the one that is almost certainly already in your kitchen right now. It is raw garlic. I know, it sounds too simple. But the research behind garlic and circulation is so compelling that I genuinely believe it is one of the most overlooked cardiovascular tools available to people over 60, completely free of a prescription pad. Eleanor was 77 years old, living in a small town outside of Nashville, Tennessee. She had been told by her doctor that her blood pressure was creeping up and her circulation to her feet was compromised. She was considering medication. Instead, for 8 weeks, she added 1 small, raw, crushed garlic clove to her beet juice each morning. Yes, raw, not cooked. At her next appointment, her blood pressure had dropped 11 points systolic, and the cold numbness in her toes had measurably improved. She called me crying with gratitude. Here is why garlic is so extraordinary for aging circulatory systems. When you crush raw garlic, an enzyme called allinase activates and converts a compound called alliin into allicin. Allicin is one of nature's most potent natural vasodilators and platelet aggregation inhibitors, meaning it keeps blood flowing freely and prevents the kind of sluggish, sticky blood flow that becomes more common after 65. A clinical trial from the University of Adelaide involving over 200 participants with high blood pressure found that aged garlic extract reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury, figures that rival some pharmaceutical interventions. And a separate analysis from King's College London found that allicin compounds improved blood flow velocity in the major arteries by up to 50% compared to placebo. For people over 70 specifically, garlic does something else that is critically important. It supports mitochondrial function in the smooth muscle cells of blood vessels. Mitochondria are the energy generators inside your cells. Think of them as tiny batteries. As we age, these batteries lose charge, and vascular smooth muscle becomes sluggish and less responsive. Garlic's sulfur compounds help recharge those cellular batteries, keeping vessel walls dynamic and responsive. Here is the key preparation tip, and this is where most people go wrong. You must crush or mince the garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes before adding it to your juice. That 10-minute rest period is what fully activates the allinase enzyme and maximizes allicin production. If you cook it or blend it immediately, you destroy much of the benefit. 1 small raw clove each morning is enough. You do not need more than that. The synergy tip is the most important of the entire video. When you combine raw garlic with beet juice, something remarkable occurs at the biochemical level. Beet juice provides nitrates that your body converts to nitric oxide. Garlic's allicin compounds then protect that nitric oxide from being broken down by free radicals, dramatically extending how long it stays active in your bloodstream. Studies suggest this combination can extend nitric oxide activity by up to 3 hours longer than beet juice alone. Think of it this way: beet juice lights the fire and garlic keeps it burning. Now, let me leave you with this, because I want you to carry this beyond today's video. Circulation is not just a medical statistic on a chart. It is the difference between being able to walk through a garden with your grandchildren or sitting on the sidelines watching. It is the difference between waking up with energy and purpose or dragging yourself through another exhausted morning. It is the difference between independence and dependence. The beautiful truth, and this is what I want you to hold on to, is that it is never too late. The human body, at 70, at 75, at even 82, retains a remarkable capacity to respond to the right inputs. Your arteries can become more flexible. Your blood can flow more freely. Your energy can return. I have watched it happen hundreds of times, and I believe with everything in my training and experience that the right natural strategies consistently applied, can restore a quality of life that many people have been told is simply gone forever. It is not gone. It is waiting. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for spending this time with me today. It is a privilege to be trusted with your health, and I don't take that lightly for a single moment. Now, before you go, I have one final question for you in the comments. Do you personally struggle with poor circulation, or is it someone you love? A spouse, a parent, a sibling, a dear friend? Tell me their name or how they're connected to you. Write it below. Because every name in those comments is a real person, and this community shows up for each other in ways that move me every week. And please, if this video helped you, share it. Send it to a friend, a family member, anyone who could benefit. You might be giving someone the piece of information that genuinely changes their daily life. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.